Good morning, it's me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot, and we are here to take a look at the divine feminine energy this morning. Let's see, after a week of focusing on the Empress, exactly how far we've come, I guess, we're looking at today. I pulled a goddess card to start us out, and looky, it is Isis and Osiris. Hello, welcome, thanks for joining me. We already saw her. We saw her at the very beginning of the Empress Week. So it's interesting that she's here again. And technically this should be the end, but I will be reading tomorrow morning because I'm going to be taking off instead of taking off Tuesday this week, I'll be taking Friday off. So I will be reading again. We will have another Empress reading tomorrow morning, and that will be the last one. And then starting Wednesday, we'll return to Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine readings. But we started off the week with this goddess energy, and it was so interesting because it was a reminder to us about this concept of the twin flame that I keep hammering in for this past week, which is the idea that there's this one person and you're supposed to be with this one person, and you choose a specific iteration outside of yourself to represent that masculine energy, and that we get very fixated on that energy, whether it's serving us or not. And usually it's really not serving us so much. So we're starting off again with this energy and again with this conversation. And as a reminder that this twin flame relationship in Hindu traditions and Egyptian traditions, it is one where the two individuals do not come into union in the material. They come into union in the afterlife. So that is something to keep in mind when you're devouring twin flame readings and, putting this person, you're like, oh, this is my twin, this is my twin, this is my twin. Well, these twins didn't get together until she located all his body parts except for his reproductive organs, but she was like, I don't need those, thank you. Right? These twins were not together in the material. It was always in the fifth dimension. So it's just a reminder again that yes, you do have this energy of a masculine that is the counterpart to the energy of the feminine. But that energy is going to be reflected back to you in any relationships you have with anyone. So if you need to make adjustments in a relationship that you have in the external world, that means you have to make adjustments inside of self. Isis is the oldest of the goddesses. She is the mother and giver of life. She is a moon goddess. She gives birth to the sun, creates and sustains all life, and she is the savior of all people. The teacher of agriculture, she is also the goddess of medicine and wisdom. Osiris was her brother and husband. When Osiris was murdered by his brother Set, Isis searched for and found him, revived him, and conceived their son Horus. When Set again took Osiris and scattered his body in 14 pieces, Isis hunted down each piece, except for his reproductive organs, which she was unable to locate, in order to give each piece a proper burial. Isis is the universal goddess representing total femininity. She can overcome death itself, yet she is not above grief. One of her tears wept when Osiris was dying caused the Nile River to flood. She underscores the depths of emotion that even a goddess must feel. So she is very strongly with us right now, and you can call in her energy to help you understand this twin flame journey, whether or not this is an appropriate label for you to have for this person that you're interested in. Regardless, just another reminder there that we need to keep refocusing on ourselves, because even the goddess of of twin flame infamy, she was not able to come into union with her twin. She had to accept their separation and only had union with him in the afterlife, just like Radha and Krishna. Okay, let's start with the headspace of Divine Feminine. What are you thinking about today, Divine Feminine? Well, I find this very interesting. Divine Feminine is thinking about Four of Wands energy, which on this card from the Field Tarot that we're using has the word celebration. This is the marriage card in the minor arcana. It's about sacred union, and I will say it because we do think it. it is also about twin flame energy. It's one of the cards that represents that. In the deck, there is a few that are associated with that energy. It's most commonly associated with the High Priestess, the Chariot, the Two of Wands, the Four of Wands. I think that's all of them. And in this case, I do think Divine Feminine is thinking about it. If she's been watching these readings for 7 days or 6 days, whatever it is, then it's been on her mind because it's been a topic of conversation. But I also think that Divine Feminine right now is trying to think of the sacred union in self. And I think she's also thinking about really desiring union and desiring, like this, I get a sense of like, give me a reason to celebrate. Give me something to be excited about. The niggling thing in the back of her mind is the Queen of Swords energy in reverse. So underlying all of her thoughts and ideas, we've got some major overthinking going on. This card says independence on it. And we have a Divine Feminine who is very independent and has maintained that independence for some time. But if she's focused on this desire for physical union, then we're seeing her as maybe feeling less capable, really, of taking care of herself. So she's starting to think about this aspect of self where she feels incomplete without this manifestation of a sacred union. And I do think she's really thinking also that overthinking about these labels and this meaning, and if she should, cut out this energy or this person that she was associated with this energy. She's probably defensive. It's likely that she's on guard. And there's just in general, there's just like a lot of analysis, honestly, analysis paralysis kind of going on in the headspace. The first thing on her mind, we saw yesterday in the reading with Grace Strega, if you missed it, we already saw this energy of the Eight of Wands. And it is in reverse, and it was in reverse yesterday. And there's a really strong sense here that this motion or this momentum, this fast moving motion, she's really resisting it. There could be, for some, there's no motion at all, no movement at all, but based on the next two cards, I do think there is motion. But I really feel that this movement that she's experiencing is very slow, and she's resisting this movement. It's like she knows that she needs to make a move of some kind, and that Queen of Swords energy is thinking a lot about doing it, but she's not quite doing it. She's not quite willing to. Or, I should say this is the past energy, because as we're moving through this spread, we are seeing that she is going to be making these moves. But so this, I think, is where she's been. She's been in this place of inertia, where there hasn't been any movement towards her celebration in this Four of Wands energy that she so desires. So I also see her experiencing, she could either be resisting sending messages to her person or to, other individuals, or just resisting communication, or she could be not receiving communication as well. Either one of those, however that fits for you, or maybe both. But the reason why I do think there is movement, and that this is sort of a past resistance to movement, is because the next card is the Six of Swords upright. And this says transition. And this is a card about learning our lessons, about having been somewhere where we've suffered through strife and struggle, where we've had these transformative experiences, honestly. And those lessons are now enabling us to be able to move to the next shore. And we don't know what that's going to look like. And there's uncertainty that comes with the Six of Swords, but there is the willingness to move for Divine Feminine. This is her current energy. So I see that she was resisting movement, but because she really wants to have a sacred union with self, which will then translate into a physical union in the material world, she is really, despite this resistance, she is really moving on. She is transitioning, however slowly, because the next card up is the Princess of Pentacles. This is page energy, page of Pentacles, this Princess of Discs here in the field tarot. And she is moving towards new opportunities, new offers, making new offers. But she's no longer in a position where she is awaiting this withheld Ace of Pentacles energy. Instead, she's looking to new shores. She's looking to new horizons, to see the potential for new opportunities to experience love. And this could be passion and love in a career. It doesn't have to be in a relationship, although I know many of you are here for that. The next thing that comes up is the Wheel of Fortune. We also saw this in the reading yesterday. So we're really seeing this energy being very consistent for Divine Feminine. So she's really doing a good job of holding the space for herself recently. We see that manifestation of these new offers, and then we see her embracing this change, this destiny that comes with this Wheel of Fortune. And this is incredibly good luck. This is what's clarifying the Eight of Wands in reverse. So we know that this resistance, this movement, this not sending messages or not receiving messages, the silence that she's been in, that she's transitioning away from in the Six of Swords energy. We have a sense here that she is thinking that there is a reason for this, that this is part of the wheel, that this is part of destiny, that she not send or receive messages at this time. And or communications from maybe a past energy, because this is in the past placement. And we are also seeing that she's no longer resisting the change. She's no longer resisting the movement. She is finally changing. Instead of staying in this limbo or this stasis, we're seeing her move on. And I couldn't be more happy than to see in the present position, clarifying the transition, we see her focused on her own self-love, understanding that this cup, once it's filled up by the inspiration from the divine and your willingness to co-create, and that agape that pours out, that unconditional love that's pouring out all the time from God, filling this cup and causing us to have this reflection of this cup come back to us. This is what she wants to move towards. She wants to move towards the fulfillment of her own self-love, resulting in a new offer that is reflective of the changes that she has made inside of herself. Well, keep in mind that this new offer could come from a person from the past. And I'm not saying that because I want you to focus on past energy. But what I'm saying is that when you change, when you transition, when you let go of something, when you stop resisting moving on, then the person that you are fixated on is liberated as well. It becomes an opportunity for them to make changes and for them to be able to offer you a cup that is a full reflection of the one that you have filled for yourself. And then finally, I love this, the Nine of Wands, which we also saw yesterday in the reading, is again in reverse, because we are now done with the healing of the deep wounds that have caused us to reject any new opportunities or any new offers. And we have opened ourselves up to being, to joining the rest of the material world again and not being in isolation anymore, since we have kept ourselves in isolation for quite some time. All right, that's a beautiful headspace, Divine Feminine. Let's take a look at your heart space. Top of the deck, overall feeling of the heart space, is the Three of Inspiration, or the Three of Wands. I love this energy. This is a really calm patience. It's a sense that you can see pieces falling into place and you're comfortable awaiting the results of what you've asked for. You have faith, you have trust that what you ask for will be yours. And so you're just very patient about it right now. There's a domino effect here that, one movement, maybe this commitment to not sending messages or not communicating or not moving towards this other iteration, this has caused a domino effect, so that there will be these ripple effects that will happen that will create change. And there's this really strong feeling in her heart space that this will happen. And I don't see her, and as I often see her, feeling like, okay, now there'll be change so I can have what it is that I wanted. I actually see her being open to the idea that there might be something new afoot, because the niggling feeling in the heart space is the Page of Voices, or the Page of Swords. And I love how she's putting on her glasses here. This is the Muse Tarot. I love how she's putting on her glasses here so that she can see clearly. And when she looks clearly, what she sees, good morning, thanks so much for joining us. What she sees is multiple parties, right? This isn't just one person on her mind. This is a few different people on her mind. And we also see her, there's like this joyful energy here too, this figure dancing here too. There's like a liberation feeling. So it's like as she looks clearly, she is seeing that there are many opportunities coming towards her because of this domino effect that has happened from this resistance to the communication. So for her to hold back these communications, or to endure the silence, or to move on from the silence, now we're seeing in her heart space this strong intuition that now these pieces are falling into place, so she can actually experience this Four of Wands energy that is on her mind. She's also feeling brave enough to try these new things, because this is, I love to talk about this card in terms of Harry Potter energy, right? Harry Potter, book 4, which I'm reading right now, when he's behind the gravestone with his wand and he has to face off Voldemort and he only has one spell. And he's just going to do it because he'd rather go out, even though he doesn't know exactly how to face Voldemort, he'd rather go out fighting than to just lay down and die. He's brave enough to pick up that wand in his case and try to wield it, even though he is not quite sure it's going to be successful. And Divine Feminine has that willingness right now to patiently await the results of what she has asked for, not being entirely sure what it's going to look like, but trusting that she is going to be able to navigate it. This is profound to me. We have the Eight of Wands in reverse, which of course, while it's about movement or things slowing down or things not moving as quickly as they normally do, it can also be about, because when we look at the Eight of Wands this way, it looks like these wands are coming down to the earth, like they've been thrown and they're going to touch down. And then when we see them in this direction, it looks like we have sent them out and they're going, so it's like we've sent out whatever communications we had made before, we sent them out. Maybe it was about a boundary and we said, hey, this is my boundary, honor the boundary. And what has resulted from either us sending communications, establishing a boundary, or enduring no communication and not speaking at this time, we are seeing ourselves entering into the Muse of Voices energy, which in the Muse Tarot represents a King of Swords energy. And of course, this card doesn't come in upright or reversed because of its landscaped aspects, so I typically just feel it out. And I have a strong sense here that it's twofold. I think there is an upright and a reversal here. I think that for Divine Feminine, her own masculine worth energy, her own masculine energy is in this really discerning, and I would I would say, a space of conquering her emotions in regards to this lack of communication. I think she's strategic in her, like in how she is navigating this situation. And then I think we're seeing that there's probably a masculine energy that is experiencing, because of this lack of communication from her, is now shifting into his own sort of icy cold aloofness, which, let's be real, he was already in. And it's just maybe he's gone even more into that energy because there's no stimulus. For the longest time, he would send, we saw yesterday in the reading, that Knight of Wands energy, that inconsistent energy. He would send messages, or he would do things inconsistently, passionately perhaps, but with no actual real ability to come forward in any sort of reliable manner. So there would be communications that would basically keep Divine Feminine on the hook, but then it would be returned with the icy cold aloofness that would follow when he could not actually come through. So we're seeing Divine Feminine's shifting into her own King of Swords sort of icy aloofness in order to counter the same type of energy that she feels coming from that masculine energy outside of self. This Six of Swords is being clarified by the Queen of Pentacles. So lovely to see Divine Feminine in this upright feeling of abundance, fertility, creativity. She feels like she can provide for herself. She feels protective of all that she's earned, all of these lessons that she's learned that have helped her really become this very formidable, stable, Divine Feminine energy that's fully in her power right now. So moving on, as she moves on, she becomes incredibly magnetic in that Queen of Pentacles energy. And this Princess of Discs or Page of Pentacles energy is being clarified by the Ten of Wands the Ten of Emotions rather, in reverse. And so we saw this, I keep seeing this again and again and again. The Ten of Cups in reverse has been haunting us. And it is this sense that it's a card about spiritual fulfillment. It's a card about joy and pleasure. And it's kind of not being able to enjoy because what you thought you wanted is looking different than what the material world is actually presenting to you. So Divine Feminine, while she is ready to start welcoming new opportunities and new offers, we still see a heart space that's feeling unable to truly taste the happiness and excitement that would normally accompany being able to sort of accept something new or welcome something new. So we see kind of a bittersweet state in the heart space, which is like, yes, I'm ready to receive new offers, but having to relinquish some of the things that I had in my Ten of Cups, coming to understand that these things didn't serve me. This has been a bittersweet process for her. This Wheel of Fortune card is being clarified by the Three of Voices or the Three of Swords in reverse. And this is like this is the heartbreak that has occurred. But when we have heartbreak, it's usually there's an outside, an external experience that causes us to go within and actually take a look at some of these painful wounds that have been reopened by someone else. And normally those wounds come from a much earlier state, from an earlier experience that happens to us sometime between the ages of 0 to 7. And when we have some kind of a painful breakup or a painful separation, or we lose something that we love and we go into this heartache, what we do is we have the opportunity to see where these wounds came from and how they were inflicted. And we can then do the work that we need to do to heal them. And Divine Feminine has now entered into a state where those swords can fall out. Those swords that have been keeping those wounds open. She's no longer giving them attention. She's not telling the story of what she doesn't want anymore. She's embracing that the future is sort of unknown, but that things are always working out for her. And she is making these changes that she needs to make in order to prevent these painful Three of Swords experiences from consistently happening over and over and over again. Then we are getting clarifying this is such a beautiful energy, clarifying this Ace of Cups, this self-love. We have in the heart space the Four of Cups. And this is one of the most beautiful depictions of the Four of Cups because it gives us this sense. We see the traditional image of an individual who's kind of looking in a meditative or thoughtful sort of a pose, and they're focused on these three cups in front of them. We assume that these cups have things from the past in them, and fantasies, dreams, ideas, different things that she's been sitting here contemplating and filling up. When you read the book associated with this tarot deck, it says of this card that this individual has constantly been looking around at all the people in her life. And she sees everyone has four cups. And she keeps looking at her own three cups and she doesn't understand. She's like, why does everyone else have four cups, but I only have three cups? And the process of pausing and reflecting upon this, why does everyone have four cups and I only have three cups, becomes this moment for her to realize that she herself is within this cup. And that cup comes from the divine. So this fourth cup she sees everybody has, what that is a reflection of their own self-love. And she's learning through this process of meditation and connection that this cup that's offered to her from the divine, that this whole time she spent looking for it outside of herself, she was already within it, which is so beautiful. And we have those two aspects of self in balance, creating this cup that she remains in. And then we have the Ace of Voices, or the Ace of Swords, right after the Ace of Cups, and clarifying this Nine of Wands in reverse. So we see that with this healing, this deep healing of these deep wounds that she has undergone, now that she's ready to come out of isolation, she's very brave with that Page of Voices energy. This is the page, her page energy, that's ready to pick up this sword. And this sword is new ideas, new opportunities, a new concept of self. Gorgeous. All right, let's take a look at the oracles now and see how we can help Divine Feminine come into this sacred union that she really desires outside of self in a physical manifestation. Right now, she is in the archetype of the divine child, which is innocence, purity, and redemption. And she has a special connection with the divine. She's no longer suffering from an inability to defend herself against negative forces. So there is this strong sense that she has a special connection to the divine. And instead of needing fulfillment from a physical manifestation, she has started to fully embrace and feel filled up by this simple relationship, which is, I am a child of divinity. And how do I treat my own child? Well, I try to give my own child every opportunity to be successful. Welcome, thanks for joining. Every opportunity to be successful, every chance he can have to shine. That's how I approach my child as a parent. And I'm not even the best parent. I'm not God. So to be a child of divinity is to have the best, most supportive, most loving, most forgiving agape. And divine feminine is realizing that that love is much more fulfilling on a deep, deep, deep level than the love that pales in comparison. It's just a pale reflection. It's an opportunity for a person in the material world to see you through the eyes of source. But once you understand that these eyes of source always see you, they always see you. Good morning. You no longer have to search for that light outside of yourself in someone else. It comes to you magnetically because you understand that it comes from the divine. So this is a beautiful lesson that divine feminine is learning right now. And to emphasize that, here's the Son of God, who is also a divine child, just like divine feminine has embraced, right? We have Christ here with this miracle energy. And this is rebirth and deep healing, because Christ is, of course, a healer. And the way that Christ heals is because he had a strong sense of his own divinity. He was able to see the divinity in everyone else and only their divinity. So when he saw someone who was sick, who couldn't walk or who couldn't see, he never saw them in their own distorted beliefs of themselves. He could only see them through the eyes of source. And all that the divine sees is your infinite potential. When I see my son, I see his infinite potential. I could cry, overwhelmed by that feeling, because that is why this Christ story exists for us to understand. We can understand when we create something that's precious to us. We can understand that love we feel for it, that's inexplicable, this deep connection you have to this being. That's why the divine used the Son in order to demonstrate how much love the divine has in general for all humanity and all beings, right? So this is a really beautiful energy surrounding divine feminine. It's like taking this week to herself to really honor her own divinity on her own without having to constantly reflect back upon a masculine energy's perspective to get validation. But to seek validation from her own cup has become incredibly fulfilling, and it's causing a miracle to take place within her. I am the dreamer of my dream. This is another reiteration of this Four of Cups energy. I am the dreamer of my dream. Just you, right? Not I am the dreamer of my dream and divine masculine dreams my dream. No, you are the dreamer of your dream. Divine masculine dreams another dream. And there are times when your dreams can overlap. But in the end, you are the one dreaming your dream. You are not beholden to any other specific iteration of this energy. This is your show. And you are extremely talented. This is just to give you the strong sense that you have a deep inner well of boundless ability in regards to whatever makes you feel passionate, engaged in the world. You have some kind of a talent. It's calling on you right now to shine and to let it be seen, and to understand that your dream, whatever it was, like maybe when you were a child, you dreamed about being a dancer or being a singer or a painter, or building buildings or being an astronaut, or whatever it was that you dreamed about when you were a child, that you put into these cups. You have this gift and this ability to be able to nurture it. And you really need to honor that talent and let yourself live those big dreams that you've had. It's time to release negativity. So if there's still feelings of discontent in regards to this specific iteration of a divine masculine energy, or a career, or a job, or an environment, or your family members, or whatever it is, if there is still lingering, just negative energy it's such a general thing. But the idea that when you look at something, you're thinking about what you don't want instead of what you do want. That's how I gauge negativity. If you're thinking about something you don't want, then you're manifesting that, which will give you a lot of things to feel negatively about, right? So you really want to put your thoughts and your intention behind what you really want to happen. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? There is an element here in this of the star card I'm reminded of, because we have this feminine energy at the edge of the water. And I always think about the image of the star card. And to see the talent card come out as well, it's like, now that you've kind of had a week, you've taken a break, you've realized how much time, how many minutes of the day you spent thinking about what Divine Masculine's job was, what he was doing, all the focus on that energy has taken away your ability to truly shine in your own divine nature. So you're being really strongly urged that now that you've gotten this perspective about what you become when you focus on yourself, which is this Queen of Pentacles energy, it's time for you to answer the call of your soul, which, as we look at the niggling feeling, is to be this Page of Swords energy, to just bravely go where you haven't gone before. We're getting this again. We got this, actually, if you don't subscribe to my Patreon, you would have missed this, but this card came out yesterday when I did the bi-weekly check-in, which was available at midnight last night. So if you're interested in seeing every 2 weeks, I do a bi-weekly check-in, which gives you the energy that you've brought in, the energy that's going out, and what you need to do for the next 2 weeks to kind of come into alignment. You can subscribe at the $9 level. There's also a monthly check-in that comes out tomorrow. That's for everyone at the $3 level. It's 7 positions. It's like a whole perspective for the whole month, what we can expect. That came out yesterday. So this card appeared yesterday. So this is an energy that the divine is meaning for us all to see, because if you don't see those readings, you didn't see this card. But we are in a state of energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. So we're finally integrating. We are finally immersing ourselves in our own cup. This integration is not, oh, now we have a physical union. It might result in that, because when you fill up your own cup, you will see one reflected back to you. But it's integration of the self, the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies, and the shadow and the light all working together to create a whole being. And I've never seen this card before. Turkey Spirit. Give with gratitude and grace. And this is from Colette Baron Reed deck. How do you make a turkey beautiful? I don't know. She did a pretty good job, whoever this artist is. All right, let us take a look. Turkey Spirit is number 61. I didn't even know this card was in here. And I've had this deck for a minute. I think I got this for my birthday. Turkey Spirit. Turkey Spirit's message for you is that you always have the potential for manifesting a rich reality, for the turkey represents generosity and a celebration of abundance through giving to others. Give freely without expectation and you shall receive, for the manifestation of abundance is happening right now. Align with it by sharing your good fortune, which you already saw, there it is, your good fortune with others, whether you give money, loving guidance, the gift of listening, or kindness in any form. Immerse yourself in the flow of generous abundance, being a channel for Turkey Spirit and the desire of Spirit to see all beings experience the blessing of plenty. Give with gratitude and grace from a wellspring of love and compassion, knowing that Spirit will respond by giving you all that you need in this moment and all moments to come. Beautiful. I love that. That is divine. All right, let us close this reading now with some just minor energy that we could just do just today that would really help us today to come into this alignment, to answer the call, to move forward in that new energy, to receive new offers, to conceive of new ideas. All right. For today, we are getting the Four of Pentacles, which is a card about foundation, right? It can be a card about holding on to something too, and about letting go. And the next card that's coming up is my Joker card. This is the one that it does not have color in it. This is the black and white one, and it is in reverse, which I look at this Joker card as a Fool card, basically, as a 0 card. And then we have the Jack of Hearts, or the Knight of Cups. So what I'm seeing today is working on your foundation, being stable, building a strong sense of stability today, and then very cautiously, not blindly, but very cautiously start to invite in new expressions of love, and open your cup, open your heart to receive a reflection of what it is that you're seeking. So for some, there might be this continued need to let go of a foolish energy and welcome in a new energy. So if your specific iteration has been acting a fool, you're going to welcome in either a new version that doesn't act like that. How does that happen? Well, we don't focus on their energy then. If you want someone to behave differently, you have to do 2 things. You have to withdraw your attention, and when you do give them attention in your mind, you have to think not about how they treated you in the past, but about how you would like to be treated now. And that, oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. The bottom of the deck is the 8 of Swords, or 8 of Spades, the Ace of Cups, and the King of Pentacles, which would be a match to the Queen we saw today. So, again, do not protect yourself from new energy. Do not continue to protect yourself and stay in isolation from new energy. Take this cup that is filled up and give this cup to a new version of the masculine energy. The specific one that you knew is now one of the past. And you have to invite in new energy. If this is in regards to a career, then it is let go cautiously. Make sure you have a fuck you fund, which is like, however, 6 months to a year's worth of income to live on, and then say sayonara, right? This is a cautious leap. This is like, I have my foundation established, but honey, I am going. I am starting something new, okay? And then I am doing that open-hearted, and I'm expressing what it is that I desire. And lo and behold, because of this Ace of Cups energy and this lack of self-sabotage, I'm receiving what I desire, which is this increase in my own masculine worth energy. So that's how you can apply this if you're here in terms of a career, or both, because a lot of times what's happening is you come to listen to twin flame readings, or you come to listen to readings about your person, and all these other little things in your life are also out of sorts. And that's why you're here to listen about this person, because for as long as you think and talk and focus on this person, you don't have to think and talk and focus on yourself, which you were taught not to do, because you were taught to be self-sacrificing, you were taught to take care of everyone else, and you were taught that if you focus on yourself, you're a selfish person. But what we learn here is that it is not selfish to love yourself. That when Christ says that you have to love your neighbor like yourself, he doesn't say you have to love your neighbor and not yourself, or you have to love your neighbor above yourself. You must love your neighbor as you love yourself, which requires self-love, doesn't it? Which requires focused attention on the self. You don't have to be a navel gazer for the rest of your life, but you do have to have a strong sense of what you want and desire and what is authentic to you. I really hope that this helped you today. We're going to have one more Empress reading tomorrow morning, which is unusual. I don't usually read on Tuesdays, but I will not be reading on Friday this week, so I'll give you Tuesday because I'm nice like that. And tomorrow I am not having my day off because I'm actually going to be working really hard all day at Moose Cat Recording in Los Angeles on recording the vocals, drums, and bass for the single that I've produced that will be coming out very soon as a fun summer jam. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I'm very excited. That'll be for the next 2 days. But I will see you here tomorrow morning, bright and early. Take care and have the best day today.